Hello my fellow Tamrielites. Update 47, Feast of Shadows, will drop on August 18 for PC Mac and September 3 on console. It will bring us 2 new dungeons, Naj-Caldessh, which we are now entering, and Black Gem Foundry, which will be in the outro. The dungeon will drop new gear and rewards, and we'll also be seeing new furnishings, furnishing plans, skill styles, and more, all of which are showcased here. One disclaimer first. While I confirm everything I can, all this information comes from the PTS and patch notes, which means details might change when the patch goes live. I intend for these videos to be perpetual references, but if you are living in the future and the patch is already live, I recommend you confirm drop sources before grinding. Also, please check the video description for corrections or updates. I will add them there and in a pinned comment. And on that note, if something in the video is incorrect, please speak up in the comments so I can update those corrections. Now let's dive in and take a look. We'll start with the 7 new gold quality plans that will be available for sale from Rawlaslalu, the Master Writ Vouchers merchant. I previously did a video of these, and since I try to be considerate of your time, I'll keep these shots pretty quick. In case you didn't see that video and would like to take a closer look at any of the pieces, I will put a link on the screen so you can check it out. The last item, the unfinished painting, was the alchemy plan, and this one is for blacksmithing. It's a replica of an item from the Naj-Caldessh group dungeon, but I think it will make an excellent shield in a dojo or weapon shop once you sink it into the wall. This is the clothing plan, a playable vassal saddle, which I was not super excited about, but people piped up in the comments on the previous video to say that they are looking forward to this piece, so I think I underestimated its coolness value. The enchanting plan is this fountain, and even though in the other video I already made my now quarterly plea for an open ground home to build on, I'll repeat it here because this piece really deserves a scratch-built, fallen ruins in the jungle build. Next up is our jewelry crafting plan, the Meridia Bell from the Western Solstice Zone story, and it actually rings. I love seeing quest items as furnishings. Our gold provisioning plan is the fruit arrangement Tideborn shown here. If you need a centerpiece for your beach bar, this plan will be available with update 47. And if you need a beach hut to house your beach bar, it's also coming soon. Note the long stilts. You'll be able to set this up at varying heights, which I'll bring up again when we're looking at the new structural plans that will be dropping from Solstice Dailies after update 47 comes live. And that's all 7 of the new plans we'll be seeing from Rawlaslalu. And look, it's already later because this is the start of the new structural plans dropping from Solstice Dailies with update 47. We'll be seeing both Tideborn themed furnishings and High Elf, but I'm starting with the Tideborn since we just saw the Tideborn hut Rawlas will be selling. As you can see, those stilts are a theme and you'll be able to build a whole village out over the water or swamps and connect all the hubs with walkways and bridges. I mean, first you'll have to find a player home with enough of an open floor plan to fit your vision, but I've already brought up the open ground home twice this quarter, so I won't mention that again. I'll just move on to these dividers and point out how fantastic they will look in all kinds of gardens, particularly when draped with the gorgeous pink flower vines from the Home Goods vendor in Sunport. Speaking of Sunport, let's move on to the High Elf structural plans we'll be seeing drop from the Solstice Daily reward coffers. I love these pieces. The stairway is lovely and graceful, and I wish we had that kind of curved staircase design for more themes. The window is lovely too, and there's a trapdoor on the floor at the right. They're all great pieces, fantastic for building really interesting homes from scratch, and... What's that? I already brought up the open ground house thing? 3 times already. I should maybe let that go. And that's fine, because the final 8 of our new craftable plans are distractingly pretty. Have you noticed all of the bird feeders and birdhouses that are scattered throughout Solstice? Well, here they are for you to add to your garden, and I definitely will be doing that. Oh, and also a messy painter's palette and some brushes. We do have a painter's palette already. It's a gold plan from Rawlas. But this messy one that looks like it's actually being used is all over the world, and I've coveted it for a long time. The last batch of craftable plans available on this PTS cycle will be dropping from the daily coffers during the wall event later this year, so let's pause for a moment and talk about the wall. The Writhing Wall will be a server-wide event that will happen in October. It will be unlike any event we've had before, coming in 3 phases, each with unique features and rewards. Elements of the wall event are currently being tested on the PTS, but the rewards associated with that event will not be live in the game when Update 47 drops. Since this video is for Update 47, I will do a separate video on the event and rewards that will come out later. And because of that, I've decided not to include the rewards from the wall event here. I could not nail down the sources for these last 3 craftable plans. They might be dropping with Update 47, but I'm guessing they're part of the wall event. Just in case, I thought I'd include them. They're all too cool to miss. That's a puddle of melted wax on the right, in case you were wondering. If you get any of these plans, please let us know in the drop source in the comments. And on that note, I am doing another code giveaway for this video and will be pulling a name from the comments, so chime in to enter. Back to things that will be added with Update 47, this curved stick fence will be added to the home goods vendor in Solitude in Western Skyrim. She already sold a long and short version of this fence, so the curved piece nicely rounds out the set. Yeah, okay, not my best pun. I really like the idea of adding items to vendors in previous zones, and I hope it continues. However, the other home goods vendor who will be getting new items is in Skingrad in Westweald, and it's Dawnwood pieces. If you saw my Gold Rewards video, you may remember I have an actual, real phobia about vining plants and plant growth that might want to eat me, and yes, I do like new items being added to the vendors, but why these trees? I did the Westweald Zone story. I killed the evil Dawnwood seeds. Why are there now more out-of-control trees on the vendor? What did I do wrong? And speaking of wrong, look, I don't like to call people out, but to the dev who crafted these Cthulhu-esque well monstrosities, what did I do to hurt you? And more importantly, how can I apologize for it so this never ever has to happen again? This is the stuff of nightmares. Are the Elnofe angry? I don't even know who to pray to for help here. Okay. Inhale, exhale. The creepy viney roots are gone. And here's the heads of our enemies mounted on the wall as a palate cleanser. Phew. On the left, we have the trophy and bust from Naj-Caldessh for completing the dungeon on normal and vet respectively, and on the right, the trophy and bust from the Black Gem Foundry. In addition, new group dungeons also mean new achievement furnishings for sale from the Undaunted vendor, and the first up is the furnishing item available after completing Black Gem Foundry on normal. The Cold Harbor Archway Grand will be 25,000 gold. Now that I'm editing, I'm wondering if you could walk on top of it and use it as a bridge. Wish I'd tested that. But hold on to your hats, because the achievement furnishing for purchase after Black Gem Foundry is a working drawbridge. Yup. Goes up, comes down. Fantastic addition, super cool. Almost makes up for the tree things earlier. The drawbridge is 40,000 gold, so it'll be 80k for a pair. And that brings us to the end of the furnishings we will be seeing with Update 47. The wall event will also see 2 new achievement furnishings added to the Sunport achievement vendor, but I'll show those in my video that showcases the rewards from the wall event. Let's move on to skill styles. 4 new skill styles will be available with Update 47, 2 from completing the new dungeons on normal, and 2 from vendors. Maj in the Undaunted camp will have a new one for keys, and Filer Tezzers in the Infinite Archive sells a new style for archival fortunes. I'll go through all 4 now in a split screen so you can see the default appearance along with the new. While we're running through these, I'll do my mandatory YouTube plug. If you are enjoying the video, please share it on social media with the hashtag ESO and tag Zos at the Elder Scrolls Online. That's the best way to get the video to other people who will enjoy it. The algorithm also loves it when you watch all the way to the end, so while I make these videos as references, consider letting the video play after you get to the specific bit you came for. It really does help me out. You don't work for me though, so regardless, thanks for just hanging out with me today. By the way, if you like hanging out with me, I'm happy to announce I'm finally in the process of setting up a Discord server for the channel, and you are all invited. The link will be in the description once it's up. I gotta get this video done first, so give me a couple of days. Once it's up, I'll also do a community post about it, so keep an eye out for that. Plug officially over, and while we're segging into gear, I'll mention that an additional skill style for caltrips will be available to earn during the wall event, but again, that'll be a future video. And here we are at the new gear. 2 new dungeons means 2 new sets of light, medium, and heavy armor, and eventually 2 new motifs. We're also getting 3 new sets of armor added to the rewards for the worthy coffers. We're starting with the gear from Black Gem Foundry. The heavy set is called Black Foundry Steel. Please note that I filmed this fairly early in the PTS run, so the specifics of each set may differ pretty dramatically from what actually goes live. That's always true to some extent, but I know we've seen more overall combat changes than normal this cycle, so please do confirm the numbers with more recent sources. The medium gear set from Black Gem Foundry is Viking Soul Fury. The motif on these is called Black Soul Gem. The Foundry is experimenting with soul gems and they've been fused into the armor. The soul gems in the armor cannot be dyed, and I didn't use purple dye on the heavy or medium gear, so everything you've seen that looks purple is undyeable. Cool aesthetic though. I like that they look like black soul gems in the world. The light armor from BGF is Lustrous Soulwell. I did use some purple dye here to complement the armor. The most prominent dye color in this set, however, has been the new dye Weathered Keystone Green, which is available from doing the optional content in the new dungeons. It color shifts from green to gold depending on the material. To show off the shift, I used it in every channel in the heavy gear from this set. I'll talk more about how to get the dye later. Last up from BGF is the monster set, the Black Gem Monstrosity Mask and Shoulder Piece. This set seems like it might be a good addition to a lot of builds, but whether it will be the new BIS by the time it goes live remains to be seen. Aesthetically, I think it's cool. I tend to like the helms that cover the face like this, and the little chains around the soul gems are a nice touch. Switching to the Naj-Caldessh dungeon, our heavy set is Stonehulk Domination. This set also has elements that don't die, as well as just, in general, a lot going on. With the previous dungeon set, I did the heavy armor all in the new dye to show off the dye, but I realized later that makes it hard to see the dye channels, so I tried to make them more clear on these sets. This motif is Vascarona Guardian, and as with the Tideborn motif that is used in the Overland armor in Solstice, this set has green pieces, which are probably inlaid bismuth, that do not dye, and it also has feathers with an orange tint that also do not dye. Additionally, the gold coins and the chains they hang on do not dye. This medium armor may be my favorite Argonian-themed motif in the game so far. In particular, I love this helmet that looks like a headdress. The light armor found in Naj-Caldessh is called Zanmir Spellweaver. There is a robe for this one, but I don't have footage of it because it wasn't rendering properly on the PTS while I filmed this. I love the PTS for exactly that reason. It's cool to see what's coming up, and the playtesting time is a great opportunity to flag things that aren't working as intended before they go live. I'll link a video I did about the PTS here if you're curious about how to access it. Lastly, for the dungeon gear, we have the monster set from Naj-Caldessh. On this set, the feathers do dye, but I dyed them to match the others without thinking about how confusing that would be visually until I got to the editing phase, so I'm sorry about that. In addition to the dungeon gear, we've got 3 new sets coming into Rewards of the Worthy bags in Cyrodiil. Our heavy set is called Unflinching Ultimate. The medium set is Coup de Grace, which is dyed entirely in Weathered Keystone Green, and you can see the stark contrast between how green and matte the green can be, and how bright and solid the gold flash can look. I love this new dye color, in case that wasn't coming through. Lastly is our new light set from Rewards of the Worthy, Spell Shredder. This seems like a good place to mention that we are also seeing additional testing of the Vengeance campaign on this PTS cycle, and the next time it goes live, many things will be enabled during the campaign, including quests, achievements, sky shards, meatbag catapults, mounts, and new skill lines, including Mages and Fighters Guild and an armor line covering skills for all armor types. That brings us to the end of the new gear, and hey, have I mentioned there's a new dye color? Weathered Keystone Green will be available after unlocking the achievement Mining Tunes. This is not the usual dye achievement of doing the 2 dungeons on vet mode. Mining Tunes requires the completion of the optional content for the dungeons. In Black Gem Foundry, the optional content unlocks the achievement Underminers. To complete it, you defeat 3 optional bosses, Prospector Lycrata, Gem Carver Hynex, and Missoura Assistant to the High Soulbinder. For Naj-Caldessh, that's the achievement Temple Hero, and you play the Vassal Saddle instrument in the Hidden Entrance, Ritual Quarters, and Keystone Chamber. If you're running a pug in the group finder on Vet, you're probably looking to do hard mode, maybe even one of the speed or no death achievements, and skipping optional content makes sense. But if you're pugging normal, consider at least asking if anyone in the group needs the optional components before you skip them. As we move into the new skin coming up with Update 47, I'll mention that there are 2 outfit styles on the PTS this cycle, but one will drop during the wall, and I believe the other is part of an upcoming event. If I find out I'm wrong about that and one of them is released with Update 47, I will include it in the wall rewards video. The last of our aesthetic rewards is a skin from unlocking the achievement Feast of Shadows Delver, which is completing both new achievements on Vet mode. In a lot of previous patches that featured 2 dungeons, completing the dungeons on Vet unlocked a new dye. Since we've just seen that the dye is unlocked a different way this time, the skin is now the reward you get from completing both dungeons on Vet. I think this is one of the best skins I've seen in a long while, though your mileage may certainly vary, but I like this one. One other thing before we move on, there is a set of new body and face markings available on the PTS cycle, but I believe they will be, say it with me, part of an upcoming event. If I find out differently, I'll put that in the description and we'll include them in the Wall Rewards video. And to continue in that vein, we will be getting a new mount and a pet with the Wall event, but for now, let's move on to the new mementos from Feast of Shadows. There are 2, one from each dungeon. The first, Seed Heavy Hist Bulb, is earned by completing Naj-Caldessh on at least Vet level and unlocking the achievement Naj-Caldessh Conqueror. and here's what it looks like. Pretty charming. Our other dungeon memento is the Slippery Soul Gem memento, which unlocks after completing Black Gem Foundry on at least vet mode. And here's what that one looks like. The Writhing Wall event will bring us another memento, but for now we are moving on to our last batch of rewards from Update 47, which are titles. There are 6 new ones, all from the dungeons. Here is the list with the associated achievements. Keymaster, Deathbringer, and the Crypt Singer are all from Naj-Caldessh. They involve doing Vet Naj-Caldeesh with the challenge banner on the final boss, with no death in the challenge banner, and the last title, the Crypt Singer, is from the achievement the Naj-Caldessh Champion, which is the meta achievement that covers basically all of the things, all of the other sub-achievements. We have the same sort of structure with the Black Gem Foundry. Illustrious, the Brilliant, and Foundry's Foil come from doing Vet Black Gem Foundry with the challenge banner, Vet Black Gem Foundry timed no death with the challenge banner, and lastly, Foundry's Foil is for the achievement BGF Champion, which is the one that covers all of the things and all of the sub-achievements. As we wrap up, here are some other changes coming with Update 47 Feast of Shadows. Our mounts will learn how to swim, which is delightful. No more having to constantly remount when you're running across, say, Shadowfen, or in Cyrodiil when you're being chased by an angry horde that wants to kill you. Also aiding in our ability to navigate over land, the compass will be updated and will provide more details after Update 47. Also, a simple but cool thing, we'll be getting a menu command that will change sprint to a toggle function instead of having to hold down the sprint key to sprint. And since it's a menu toggle, if you don't want that change, you can leave it as is. I always love options. Fans of the Infinite Archive will be happy to hear that a reroll ability is being added to Visions. Visions make a huge difference, and getting a bunch of bad rolls early on can make a run a lot harder. After Update 47, we will be able to pay Archival Fortunes to get a reroll from Mora. Multiple rerolls are possible, but they cost more each time. Speaking of rerolls, if you don't hear a line of an NPC's dialogue and want to repeat, you'll be able to do that after the Update 47 with the replay button. Yay! Another quality of life update coming with Update 47 is that new crafting surveys you receive will no longer become individual items in your inventory. Instead, surveys will fall into envelopes, 1 envelopes per each type of crafting survey, similar to how Master Writs now work. You will be holding, for example, a blacksmithing survey envelope and an enchanting survey envelope. Subsequently, the envelopes from surveys of the same type will stack, so even if you have, say, a dozen blacksmithing surveys, they will only take up 1 inventory slot, up to a maximum of 7 slots, 1 for each type of crafting. However, in the case of surveys, dividing them up by crafting type means you don't know what zones your surveys are in until you open the envelope. It takes up less space than dividing them up by zone, but it's a very all-or-nothing kind of use case, and I'm hoping the tool can be adapted to allow more flexibility at some point in the future. My last note is that while 2 new player homes were featured on the PTS this cycle, as usual for the dungeon patches, 1 home will be a Crown Store item and the other will be available as the last morphing collectible in the Empresario's current series, so I haven't featured either of them in this video. And those, my fellow Tamrielites, are all of the rewards and some of the changes coming with Update 47 Feast of Shadows. Before I go, a quick reminder that leaving a comment on the video will enter you to win one of the code giveaways, but even if you aren't interested in doing that, thank you for watching all the way to the end. As always, I appreciate that you took time out of your day to spend with me. Thank you for that. I look forward to having you back in my little corner of the internet soon, but until then, may all your loots be elite.